Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
Oh, Mama, Justine Mater. You like that
Hey,
referral, Mama?
I'll take it. I'll take it. Kenner, I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I'm living the dream, man. I'm living the dream. Yeah. I love what you and I talked about off screen. And really what that was referrals. Because, so many of our people, which I love, by the way, are marketing people. They're thinking about, getting clicks on their website.
Yes.
But really, sometimes people forget, referrals really can grow your business because then you have an army who's going out there for you and talking about how good you are. So I think that, being the referral mama, as I like to call you, I think sometimes makes a lot of sense because it's pretty darn important. And you obviously you've grown your practice based on referrals. So I think a lot of people are going to want to hear about how you've grown your business, and maybe that can add some value to them, whether they're in the dental practice or they're insurance salespeople, real estate agents, real estate investors trying to bring in more money. I think this is going to be a worthwhile half an hour, whatever the case is.
Oh, I'm so excited for it. And you guys, the number one thing I know about Kenner and the community that's listening to this is that we're all looking for a way to make a greater impact, right? And so when we're thinking about what we do, how we do it, and who we do it with, that becomes kind of the story of your life. And so I'm so excited to be here with Kenner and really just share, I'm a small town girl from Minnesota, and I've grown my business through the power of the internet almost completely through referrals. And I'm not saying that to boast. I'm saying that has been a foundational support in my business. And I'm so sad to see that other business owners aren't utilizing the power behind such a, I don't know, it's a long-term tool, right? People have been doing this for eons, but we've forgotten it in the midst of, AI and all of these other great tools and opportunities, right? Not dissing those by any means, but, I'm so excited for us to dig into referrals and how they can really change your business today.
Sweet. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, Justine? I think it's a good background for people to learn. It's again, I think the time we're going to spend is going to add some value. And first, why don't we learn about the foundational elements of who Justine is?
Heck yeah. So guys, Justine Mater here. I'm born and raised Minnesotan, wife and mom to 3 going on 4 beautiful kids. I left my original.
Congratulations.
I am. Yes. Oh, thank you. So, and that's crazy because nobody will know. I'm working remote. Nobody sees more than my face. So, no, it's too funny. But for a while, not going to lie, you guys, you didn't see my face because pregnancy is real for some of us moms, and that's okay. I was sicker than a dog for the first 4 months. So we're getting back on camera. We're doing our things. But, this is a big part of how and why I've built my business the way I have. I was originally a licensed and certified dental assistant, and I was working in the field and super passionate not only about dental and oral care for patients, but really the experience for people in the chair. Hi, sweetie pie. You gonna come check on mom? Hi. But with that in mind, it's one of those things that I knew that I wanted to have a family with my husband, and for us, raising our kids was one of the top priorities. And so I worked up to the day that my firstborn came and joined the family, and that was going on 5 years ago in February. So, hi, sweetie. But that was, the pinnacle point for me as a individual and someone that was trying to be intentional with where I wanted to see my life go. And a lot of the business owners that are probably listening to this, that's a question that you're asking yourself on the daily. Where do I want my business to take me? Where do I want my clients to go? How am I going to help them get there? And so what I want to elaborate with you guys here today as well is this has been 5 years of testing, learning, development, and I want to be a student of life. I don't think I'm ever going to be done. And with people like Kenner in my world, it ain't going to stop any day soon. So with that in mind, I focus on marketing. I love podcasting, and you'll probably see me hanging out with my kids and having a great time living life. But most of it has been remote and through the power of the internet. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about the referrals, because it sounds like, you're obviously a big proponent of it, and a lot of people, as we talked about, don't use it like they should. So I guess let's talk about the basics of referrals. What are your thoughts about, let's say I'm a business owner, I'm a new business owner. Let's just say I'm a newer business owner with maybe 2 years of experience, because we have some of those, and I want to get going with a very inexpensive marketing technique that would be really enveloping referrals.
Yep, absolutely. So number one thing, you guys, the world is full of 7 billion people. Nobody knows who you are or how you could help them. And so one of the best ways to start utilizing that is by getting in touch with the people that are in your network. So maybe to start off as a new business owner, that might be friends and family. It might be a couple of the previous clients, maybe from a different collaboration, or old coworkers that are like, hey, just, so for me, right? I left the dental space, but they could speak to my credibility and character and be like, hey, if you need help with your dental marketing, Justine was an amazing team player. Now you get to have her on your digital marketing team. We're so happy that you can work with her. Something like that, right? That's a great example for me. Maybe you're in real estate, right? And people don't know that you just got your realtor's license. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Tell your network. Tell your people, say, hey, I just got my realtor's license and I would love to be a part of your new chapter when you're looking for a new home. Let me know how I can help, right? When you lead with value, that's one of the biggest pieces to the puzzle that people need today, right? People want to be seen, heard, and understood. That's being a human, guys. So when it comes to thinking about what you're going to do with referrals, number one, please don't overthink it, because we're all humans. That's the beauty of working with people in a network, right? So if you're a new business owner, these are a couple of the principles that you can do. Again, start off with your network. Number two, make sure that you have a digital asset page that people can find you on. So it's not just, hey, it's this person. That's great, but to boost your credibility in, the digital age, 2024, right? We're not back in the 1950s where everything was a handshake. We have the handshake and the digital space. So now you have even more bonuses. So set up your Google business profile, set up a simple website. Doesn't have to be fancy. Get something where people can contact you based off of a referral. Another great tip. So this will be number 3, right? If you guys are writing notes, ask people to refer you, but then give them your name. So then you have a point of reference. Oh my gosh, you listened to Kenner's podcast. I'm so glad that I got to meet someone from his network. I can't wait to work with you. Then you create a point of reference, which allows yourself as the business owner to go back to Kenner and be like, hey man, thank you for the shout out. That means a lot. Guess what? That boosts your relationship with them. And then you say, hey, how can I support you? Guess what? Kenner's running another tax webinar. So we're going to send my tax question people over to Kenner, right? So it creates this ecosystem, and people are forgetting this piece of the ecosystem in their businesses today. So, regardless of where you find yourself, new business owner, been in business for a decade, how are you utilizing your referrals? How are you utilizing your previous clients, right? And there's a couple of different industries we've gotten here, right? I've got dental patients that come in yearly. We've got probably real estate agents that are looking for new buyers often because they find a house, get someone happy. They're probably not going to buy another house for a couple of years, especially if you made them happy. So that's great. But guess what? They can in turn be like, hey, we were so happy. They made it seamless. They helped us through all of those hoops, you guys. Go and talk to Janice over at, whatever realty office. She was the morning and evening star. Like, thank you so much for working with us, Janice. That takes all of the fuss out of it. And the cool thing about this, any salesperson is going to tell you that sales is broken down into three little boxes. Do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? Cool. Guess what helps you check those 3 boxes? Your network. Referral is like a check. All done. Versus, do you know, guys, how many touch points it takes to convert a viewer to a buyer in most marketing campaigns? They're talking between 11 and 18 because of how much is pushed into us through, our phones. Love these devices. But I tell you what, the quick dopamine rush when you're scrolling, you lose the effect of how powerful your message could have been, right? So when you go back to the basics, go ahead. Sorry.
It's incredible how many times we have to, as an entrepreneur, how many times we have to touch our prospects, if you will. Yes. That blows me away. I think you're right. I've heard anywhere from 7 to 25. I mean, whatever the number is, it's a lot. It's a lot more than it used to be.
Higher than mine, though. I don't know if I'm teasing.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what the numbers, but what I would say is I know it's a lot. You know what I mean? So, and the only way of doing that is getting content out there. But I think you're right. Starting at the foundational level of your network, then grow from there. I think because they're going to be your biggest loudspeaker. But what about automating? Like for us, we basically only get our business based on word of mouth for the most part, right? Because it's not from our social media. Our social media is kind of a joke. So, but what I would say is
we're making progress. Everybody knows Kenner's on social media now. We are working on it. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
We're definitely making progress. Thank you for noticing that. By the way, I'm Kenner with VastSolutionsGroup.com. We're talking on the Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. So, but what I would say is we're automating a lot of our kind of inbound calls when people are referring us business and prospects. What do you think about the automation element? How important do you think automation is as it relates to referrals?
Such a great question. So when it comes to the question of, is my business ready to automate? Is my business ready to delegate? Where am I at? So many of these business owners, small, and when I say small business owners, typically that's an enterprise that's between 1 and 10 employees. Okay, guys? So if you're anywhere in between there, that's typically still within the small business sphere. And that's not to put you in a box. That's just to help us relate to each other in this conversation, right? Because you can have less than 10 employees and be doing millions in vast different industries. Like that's amazing. But what I want to do is the number one thing that will always be king is simplicity in your business. How well do you know your SOPs, right? And when I say SOP, for those that are listening, that's a standard operating procedure, right? Some entrepreneurs call them, EOPs, the entrepreneur operating procedure, however you want to call it, right? Those are interchangeable acronyms. When you look at the process of your day-to-day, what is the most valuable tasks that require your presence as the human behind the business, right? So many businesses are built starting with just strictly you and me, right? That's how I started my business, right? But now that you've got an idea of where your business is at, what items can you either automate or delegate to your team? Which ones are going to be more of that personal touch? Which ones are going to have more cause of, how would you say it? Like incorrect execution, right? Maybe you don't want to have this done with a person. Maybe you want this just to be something easy data entry. This is just going to go straight automations through Zapier, right? Maybe that's how you want to do it. But without that panoramic view of what your business looks like, you won't be able to properly answer that question. And I can't answer that question for you. So when I work with dental offices or small businesses, that's one of the first things I ask is like, hey, let's take a panoramic view of what this looks like. Or some people call it holistic. I'm a very holistic perspective style of execution, because then we get to prioritize. So if we realize that in this kind of analysis that you're ready to optimize your referral process, then we're going to go from the person asking for it at the front desk to be like, hey, if you enjoyed your dental visit today, can you make sure to leave us a 5-star review? Guess what? The dental industry is down by, I think it's down by 45% since COVID due to just all.
Holy mackerel, really?
It is, because guess what? Dental offices were not only super closed during COVID due to oral exposure, but a lot of people retired early, and there is not the amount of new people heading into dentistry. So it's one of those things that, maybe this isn't your industry, but looking at your industry, what are some of the areas that you can optimize through these interactions, right? So if you may forget to ask someone for a review after you signed the house over to them and they had a great experience with you as a real estate agent, and you forget to ask for a Google review. Well, guess what? If you have an automation set up in the background through any reputation management software or through your, email marketing or any of the other touch points that you've created as a process in your business, that's going to happen without you worrying about it. And I tell you what, some people,
there's a lot, there's a lot to uncover there. So, and I know you're going to go on, but let's touch base about that. So, when we're offline, you mentioned Google reviews. By the way, real quickly, how does someone get a hold of you if they're interested in what you're talking about? First of all,
well, I am on social media, so no, I'm teasing you again. Yes, I am definitely active on all the socials. You'll find me at Justine Mader HQ for headquarters. So you'll find me on all the social platforms. I'm really trying to connect with people on LinkedIn. So I'd love to know if you listened to this and connected with me because of Kenner's podcast on LinkedIn. Please mention him. That would be amazing. And I do have a referral giveaway that I can help you kind of figure out your process. If this would be beneficial for you guys, please let me know. I'll get it in your hands. And this is not something that has to be complicated, but this is something that could totally optimize your business in 2024. So let's make it happen. So contact me on social media. Otherwise, more of a dental website, but where you can find me for lead gen and media buying, you'll find me at smartmarketmedia.com.
And that's Justine Mader, Mader, correct?
Correct. That is me.
All right. Very cool. All right. Sorry to interrupt there, but I wanted to get that in so people, if they're interested.
Thank you so much. No, you're too kind.
No problem. So, okay, let's talk about these Google reviews, because again, you brought that up twice, I think. So I know that obviously everyone knows what Google is. Everyone probably uses Google. So give us a little bit of information about Google reviews and really its importance, how to optimize it, et cetera.
Absolutely. So when I mentioned earlier, if you're a small business owner just getting started, you'll want to have a GBP up. Well, the GBP is
a what?
Google business.
A what?
Yep, I'm gonna go into it because I threw an acronym at there and I realized I didn't even tell them what that really was. GBP, if I'm learning to enunciate like my 5-year-old, is a Google Business Profile. And so in order to have a place for people to leave you that 5-star review that says, hey, everybody come back, this is where you need to hang out, this is where you need to be, you need to have that profile up and verified so Google knows that you're a vendor of whatever that product, service, or shop is, right? So that's the first step. You'll need to have that all verified through Google. The second question that kind of comment with that is I've had business owners be like, hey, we did super good on all of our Yelp reviews. Why doesn't that count or improve my SEO? Because Google really doesn't give a darn what Yelp says. At the end of the day, that is how it works. So if you were to focus your efforts and be like, Justine, you said get reviews, work on my referrals, I'm overwhelmed. I'd say start with one. I want you to start with Google. Google will always be king. And understand that some of the benefits that come from that is not only better SEO, which is search engine optimization, where people that are searching for whatever service or item you offer, you're gonna start ranking. The person with more reviews or more active reviews, right? I'm not talking 20 reviews in the next month and none for the next year. Like, hey, I got 20 reviews for this year, I'm cool. No. You need to have a consistent flow, which is why we want to have either an automated process or standardized process that is just a part of your lifestyle, right? It becomes part of something so that the flow is constant. And, that's otherwise Google will kind of be like, yeah, you're kind of half-assing this. We're not going to recommend you. And they're smart. They just know. So it'll improve your SEO and it will also help build know, like, and trust from your existing clients into your new market audience. And the third thing, people want to run ads and have ads, make everything all go away and, have new customers in their business. That's great. But to make sure that you're targeting the right people, one of the best and easiest ways to do that is to give Google an idea of who has been happy with your service. Guess where that comes from? Your reviews. So if you want your PPC pay-per-click to be down and hopefully not spending more in your marketing budget than you have to, again, what are the foundations? And so, Kenner, when people ask me, what's your main offer? What's your main this? Like, I'm all about foundations. I'm all about simplicity, and I'm all about optimizing your energy as the human behind the scenes, right? And so don't work harder, just work smarter. And these are a couple of great ways that you can start today to really impact your business.
And then I think Google reviews, as a matter of fact, we just heard we got one today, as a matter of fact, but we don't ask, which we should. Instead, we get a lot of referrals, but we should probably be pointing to Google reviews a lot more so. But so you mentioned something about reputation management software that's out there. I know there's a whole bunch of different ones. What are the key ones that you suggest, Justine?
Well, so more than the key ones, I would say let's focus on the key things in your business, right? There's some that are better for certain industries. There's, a couple on top. People have probably heard of Bird Eye. This is not sponsored. He's the top dog. That's the big one, but it's also the big bucks. And so, for small businesses, they're like, again, I only have so much in my budget to go for ads, marketing, this and that. Like, I can't cut it all right now. What I would want you to focus on then is, figure out where your dollars are going to go the furthest. If you've decided that ads is where you're going to go, then reputation management is for, Q4. And we're going to work towards building up our, marketing budget to accommodate that in Q4 so we can have it optimized and automated through the software, right? Perfect. But if you're ready to jump into one today, I would look at your industry. So say you're in construction or you're in real estate. Who are the top ones that are working for that style? Because the cool thing about how these reputation management softwares are built, their automations speak to that audience specifically. So they have different layouts and templates and all that kind of stuff already laid out for all of the real estate agents, already laid out for all the plumbers, already laid out for all the dental office. And you can customize and personalize them. You can do all that fancy stuff. And I encourage you to do so with a little bit of your personality just to make it feel like a human experience, right? But, the bulk of it is done. Oh, thank you. And so that's a great way to think about, again, looking at the efforts of yourself long-term. But if you were to kind of break it down into like a 1, 2, 3 checklist again of what does this software have to make it the right thing for me, I would say it has to be within the allocated budget. It has to have decent support. And I'll be honest, the US-based ones have been far more supportive. And I've seen better, not customer service. That's not the right answer. Better integration support, right? Because they're going to integrate their software with all of the softwares that you're utilizing. And it can get really challenging with some of these other ones offshore that might be a little cheaper because it's just not only is there a language barrier, but a lot of times there's just not as much of a priority towards excellence. And so some cases that may work out fine. Maybe for you, it works great. But I just want to make sure that, being transparent that some of those may have hiccups. And maybe if you're like, hey, the dollar amount is right, I'll deal with the headache. Perfect. That's your answer. Other people are like, I don't want no fuss. I don't want no messes. I'm going all the way to the top. Fantastic. But those are kind of the 3 breakdowns. Hi, sweetie. You okay? Oh, goodness gracious.
Hopefully.
She is. She's just having a moment. This is my almost 2-year-old. You were playing out in the dirt. Say hi, guys.
Hi there. What's her name?
This is Jasmine.
I'm sorry, Jasmine?
Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jazzy. Hey. Oh, you're playing with a marker. It's so cool. You're so cool. Yes, it is. But I would say...
So what about... Let me ask a couple... Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you can get those 3 questions answered, then you'll be able to really identify what's going to be best for you in this season.
I understand. Maybe this question is for you or Jasmine. I don't know. Let's say someone's been around in business for, I don't know, because this popped in my brain because you said one of the top producers or something about the top. So let's just say someone's been around for, 20 years, and they have not been using referrals. And they've been, producing pretty darn well, right? Yes. What do you then suggest as far as referrals?
Oh, this is so great. So the fact that you've been in business for, even if it's a decade, maybe it's not 2 decades, but if it is, hey, power to you. But if you've been in business for any exorbitant amount of time, what I would encourage you to do is to either record a solo video or a couple of videos that you can utilize on the social platforms, but also in your email list to reach out to the people that you have touched over that time, right? So your previous clients, all that kind of stuff. And I like to do it with a personal video. Yes, there is AI that you can utilize that'll change people's names and it'll be like, hey, Jesse, so great to see you. And then it'll go into the, constructed video. You can do that if you want, if you feel fancy, but otherwise I would just say, hey, it's Kenner. I'm so excited to be announcing that I've been in business for 20 years and I don't know where that time has gone. It's been amazing. Time flies when you're having fun. And I've had the most fun working with people like you. Can you do me a solid? I'm trying to reach more people like you in the network. And I've kind of been slacking in my Google reviews. Do you have 30 seconds to click the button below this video and go give me a 5-star review? Just know it would mean the world. And send that out to your people that have known you for probably 20 years. And right, if you're in the insurance industry or you were buying homes back before the market crash in 2008, you've been through enough, right, guys? So to be able to send out a message like that on the social media channels, to your email list, it's such a simple, free ask. People want to help in anything that's free, Kenner. You're giving them the tool that gives you priceless amounts of data and reach that they didn't realize existed, probably because most people don't understand the power of reviews or referrals, and follow up with, say you got all these reviews down, then I would follow up with the next campaign, say a month later, and I would say, hey, thank you so much for the reviews. Do you have 2 or 3 people that need help with taxes that I can support? We're taking on new clients. I'd love to work with people in your family. But you just want to say more.
That's really good. I mean, an experienced business owner. You're dealing with Jasmine, Kilo Jasmine. I'm dealing with Bo, my little dog. Hi, Bo.
Oh, that's awesome. What
not
kind of
dealing
breed?
with, hopefully in love with him, right?
Yes.
Bye, Bo. Sorry.
What breed is
I
Bo?
digress.
Sorry, I have to ask.
I'm sorry?
What breed? What breed is Bo?
King Charles.
Ooh,
Spaniel.
I like King Charles. Yes, that's awesome.
He's a good little kid.
Oh, you want to come
Little
back
cavalier.
up?
Cool little kid. They are dogs and kids are fun.
Yes.
All right, so that makes sense for, we took care of kind of the new entrepreneur looking for referrals to the experienced one. Now we're getting a little technical because I know you do a lot in AI. Obviously, we've been doing AI for years. We even had a model called Einstein that helped us with a little bit with referrals, but more than anything, it helped us with, lowering taxes for entrepreneurs. Also helped us with the finances.
Cool. That's not my area of expertise. I'm sending them your way for that.
I love it. But, obviously, you did do some AI. So I'm going to assume you must know a little bit about kind of optimizing referrals based on AI, or at least business automation. Plus, you've mentioned Zapier. I think you might have mentioned Make. So how do you use business automation or AI in that regard?
Absolutely. So for the way that I do business right now, hey, I gotta talk. Yep. Do you want to go color? Yep, you can go color. I'm going to put you down, okay? I don't want to drop you. Oop, there you go. For the way that I use AI, and a lot of people will use an integrator like Zapier, it connects all of the pieces to the puzzle, right? So that it trips the different automations. And, for me, I have a small, simplified model for my business. But what's been more fun has been building it for other people using the same fundamentals, right? So for, the insurance broker that is working with people, they've got their email list, they've got their campaigns, they've got their ads, they've got their, Google Business Profile, what ways can we have different actions be triggered? So what I love doing, I feel like I cook in the kitchen, right? Where you're able to be like, oh my gosh, we're going to add a little bit of this, we're going to add a little bit of that. But the same outcome comes to the fact of, again, where was their need for support? Where was their growth desired in their business, right? Were they looking to get more people on their website? Because that means that we're going to have a lot of those triggers land them on the sales page, right? So again, what you may need in your business, and as you're listening to this conversation, I just want your wheels in your brain to be turning and be like, okay, there is AI for everything. Guys, literally there is AI for everything. If you are looking to build your email list. Okay, how are you getting emails? Where are you getting these emails from? Do we know if they're cold or warm? And how are we going to trigger either nurturing sequences, right, that are automated through, ChatGPT to optimize the plugin, and, it creates that kind of conversion campaign? Or are you going to focus on your social medias? Are you going to go to more the influencer route? Is that kind of where your ball game's at? There's no right or wrong, but the principles all remain the same. What are your most profit-induced tasks each day? And then second, what can you do to either automate or delegate those tasks to AI? I don't know what those are for everybody, but again, it comes down to those fundamentals. So if I could encourage anyone to think about what that is, then go and seek that specific tool, right? If that's somebody working on your copy, guess what? There's a million AI copywriters out there right now. But then, if your person only has to, your team only has to proof, 100 different pieces of content versus writing the 100 pieces and then proofing them, you're going to cut their, 8-hour day into 45 minutes at best. And, if you want to take it even a step further, put it into Grammarly. Hey, sure, that's awesome. And that can be part of the sequence too. But again, a lot of people get stuck in this, I have all the tools, Kenner. And this is something that I love and hate about entrepreneurs, because we see something, we get it. We're like, hey, that's the newest thing. I got the lifetime deal. That's great. Are you using it? And so one of my biggest challenges to anybody that's listening to this is do anything and everything with intention. If you can give me the panoramic view on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Then go out and find the puzzle pieces. Don't bring me all the puzzle pieces first. I want you to have an ideal picture of exactly where you are. Not because it's me trying to break you down and be like, hey, you're only this far after 10 years. No, I just want to know the state of the union. What's the state of the union? Because then when we know exactly where we are, we can paint the picture of the target that we're shooting for. And dude, we can get accurate with that, because then we get to go into building those automations through Zapier, through your CRM, through your, team optimization. So I feel like that question gets the cart before the horse. It needs to be working together, and it's part of the conversation. But guys, just don't be tripping on it. Don't be tripping on it. It's not fun. And if you're a small business owner that's trying to watch where your dollars go, and hopefully not just to taxes, but also into other softwares and stuff, right? You're going to want to be intentional. And that's with your life, that's with your business, that's with your finances. And that's what builds the freedom that you sought probably in the first place, which is why you started your own business. So I'd really just build the foundation around that.
Wow, look at that, Justine. That's good. What I would say is, man,
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, and you guys, I'm young and new to the game, so I know this probably sounds like, what kind of street cred does she got? I have learned so much from people like Kenner that have been so humbly vulnerable about their lessons and what they've learned and the pain and the struggles that they've been through. Before the internet came, guys, again, all this was on a handshake. We have no excuses for not taking these tools and optimizing and utilizing them. However, the grass is greenest where you water it. So where are you putting your focus? Where is that energy going? And I think that's something that you guys that have been in the game for a lot longer than myself have learned, that discipline. And that's something that I see, and I'm so trying to implement in myself as a person, as a mother, as a wife, right? But it's one of those things that if I could encourage anybody to focus that, it's not where you're not, it's where you are. You have to be where your feet are in order to get to where, that mountaintop is. And with people like Kenner in your network, you will get there. It's just a matter of being super intentional with what you got. I think that's the key.
I like that. That makes me feel good.
Well, don't let me down now.
Cred.
Don't let me down, man.
You have street cred. And for me, I have this little series on TikTok, Diary of a Failed Entrepreneur. It's a little fun little thing that I talk about because, I could have, coming out of grad school, if I would have really worked and really, really pushed it, I could have been, I would say the model entrepreneur. But then again, I've learned so many things like what not to do. I feel like I can teach what I've learned, what not to do. But what I would say is, coming back, kind of landing this plane, because we only have a couple of minutes, it's really important that, someone uses referrals as kind of the base, really foundation for building their business. Number one, I don't care what business it is, dentistry, insurance, even if you're an internet marketer, getting that word of mouth, number one. And then I think what you basically said it. I mean, if you can automate that referral process using Google, I think Google's a big one. I think then you're good to go. So a lot of things you talked about, I think makes sense that, entrepreneurs need to hear more and more. And hopefully, just by listening to this show, they're going to, have a leg up on the competition just by, using referrals, using automation, et cetera, et cetera.
And the best day to do it, if you haven't, is today, guys. It's not rocket science. It's not something for you to be like, oh man, if only, if only anything. Right? If only I would have taken the, 5-mile run yesterday. Well, I didn't. So, that is the way it's going to be. So, don't, again, if you're living where your feet are, you're being super intentional with where you're at, then you get to change the trajectory of tomorrow by what you do today. And I think that when we look at life as, today's the gift, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Let's focus on impacting the clients that are in our sphere. Let's focus on growing those relationships to the point where, they help magnetize people into your world, right? People talk about these electrifying personalities. They can't get enough of them. Guess what? You don't have to put your face all over social media if that's not your thing. Yep. Put your love and your care, because that's the thing that AI can't do, into the people that are in your sphere. And that, to be honest, guys, if I could give you just even one last tidbit before we close up, AI can do everything but be human. AI can do everything but be you. Yes, it can train in your voice. Yes, it can train, and even present in your voice. But guess what? It's not going to replace you at your kid's birthday party. It's not going to replace you when your mom's dying in the hospital. It's not going to replace you in all the things that truly matter. And if you're a business owner like Kenner and myself, these are big pivotal points that are going to help set you apart in the industry to come, because AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So get on the train or, wave goodbye. But, ultimately, this is your chance to help the people in your network support you without costing a dime. Again, this is something free that your network can do for you. And how many people listening to this have almost 5,000 people on Facebook that are just people? How well do you know those people? How can you better improve your relationship goals within your network to see who's even in your network? That's a scary question. You may not even know who's in your your feed and watching you, right? And so many people don't realize that some people follow you just to watch and see what you'll do. Will you take this advice from someone like Kenner that's been through the trenches? Will you take advice from someone like me that's living the life and doing it too, right? I'm not here to say I've made it. I'm here to say I'm working on it. I'm here to say that I'm less. The lessons are constantly coming, and I'm being taught, and I'm willing to teach, because those who also teach learn better. By me showing up and speaking and delivering just the reality of what motherhood and business has been for me, guess what? It's helping me take my own medicine and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. And with that in mind, you guys, you're going to be untouchable. AI can't touch that, and it can't replace it.
That's exactly what a perfect way to end the show. Kids, once again, Kenner French of vastsolutionsgroup.com. Check out Justine Mader on, she said, LinkedIn. And it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, Justine. And if anyone wants to, anyone has any questions for me, I'm at Kenner@vastsolutionsgroup.com. If they want to provide some input on this show or any show, info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. Again, you've been listening and watching The Vast Voice, and we are telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.